Hi, it's Taylor with Mom on the Spectrum, and today we are talking about Lady Gaga and 5 lessons that she taught me about unmasking. Now, Gaga isn't herself autistic, or she hasn't publicly said anything about that. I'm not trying to imply anything there, but I feel like her sense of artistry and creative expression can really help us in the autistic community understand how to better unmask. So, regardless of what you think about her, I feel like you have to acknowledge that she has expressed herself in some really bold and courageous ways. So, if you're up for going on that journey with me today, I'd be glad to have you. I just got back from a trip to Las Vegas where I saw Lady Gaga's jazz show with one of my good friends, Rachel. This was on my bucket list. So, me and Rachel, we just decided YOLO and we booked the tickets, and I'm so glad we did. So first of all, before we jump into the 5 lessons that she taught me, I'm Taylor, like I said, with Mom on the Spectrum. This is my channel. Welcome. If you're new here, I'm so glad to have you. If you're returning, hello, I love you. I'm so glad you're part of the community here. If you're a late diagnosed autistic person like me and you're looking for more resources, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and become part of our community, and like this video if it's helpful to you. So if you haven't heard, Gaga is doing a jazz residency in Vegas. This is just her and a piano and like a 20-piece jazz ensemble. My dream. Okay, jazz is probably one of my favorite forms of music, and I just knew that I had to be there. In addition to her having the Vegas show, she also has a costume and wardrobe exhibit right next door. And so Rachel and I stumbled upon it, and I was like awestruck. I think it kind of like hit me how long we had been there, because Rachel was like, she had seen everything she needed to see, and I was just like, just walking past everything and with such awe, and like I was so enamored, because to be so close to such iconic pieces of art and work that she had done, it felt like I was connected to this energy source that was really overwhelming in like the most profound and awesome way. So after being around her creations, her artwork that she brought to life, and then seeing her in person live on the stage, it really made me think about the extent to which she has gone to become who she is and to embrace this really unique, zany, incredibly talented person that she is as Lady Gaga. And I started thinking how much that relates to me as a late diagnosed autistic person, and trying to find my voice and trying to find my forms of self-expression that feel good and empowering and just authentic. So the first thing that really strikes me with Lady Gaga is that it takes courage to put yourself out there. I mean, everybody has heard about a crazy thing that Gaga has done, right? The meat dress, coming in an egg in one of the award shows. She's done some really bold things that have got people talking. And if you know anything about her story, I won't go into that here, but she experienced a lot of setback when she was younger, and a lot of people made fun of her. And there was even a Facebook group somebody started saying that like she will never make it as an artist, and they gained traction with other people like joining the group to tell her she wasn't going to make it. And so, hearing her tell the story is pretty incredible, but she would just sling her keyboard around the city with her and just bust it like night after night after night, just performing and performing, until finally she started making a name for herself. And so the first lesson really here, I think, is just that it takes extreme courage to be who you are. And nobody is going to step into that role for you. Nobody's going to take your hand and say, this is how to be who you want to be. So it really requires listening to yourself, believing in yourself, even when things get really hard, and just putting yourself out there again and again and again. The second really interesting thing that I'm learning from Lady Gaga is that I really feel like you can unmask by masking. So let me explain. Everybody's seen a Lady Gaga costume or outfit, an outrageous one that's over the top. And a lot of times when I see a picture of her, it takes me a second to realize, oh, that's Lady Gaga, right? So there's all these different iterations of herself out there, all these different ways that she's inventing herself. And it's like she's just embracing these different versions of her and different forms of expression. So in masking, literally sometimes, some of the things in the exhibit, I'll try to post some pictures, just these incredible masks that she's worn in order to express herself. And so I think a lot of times in the autistic community, it's not that we villainize masking, but sometimes we think about it as a bad thing, but it's not always a bad thing. And sometimes we wear a mask because we feel safer. And so as we learn how to unmask, I just want to encourage you to try on different versions of yourself in whatever form that might look like, and try to do so with a spirit of playfulness and curiosity rather than judgment. If something doesn't feel right, it's just one try. It's just one iteration of you that you explored, and that's okay. You can put it back and you don't have to open the box again. But you might as well play around with the costume box, right? I mean, there's some pretty cool stuff in there. Okay, the third and probably, I think, the biggest lesson for me is the art of improv. The art of improvisation. So jazz basically is the art of improvisation. And improvisation is creating new things, doing things you've never done before, experimenting, taking a scale in a direction that you've never taken it before. And it's all in the name of creating something new and interesting and vibrant and fun. And so exploring that can be really scary, especially for people who like routine and consistency and like having a sure thing that they can bet on. So even though I'm a classically trained musician, improv is still really scary to me. The incredible thing, like the most incredible thing about the experience I got to have seeing Gaga in person was her playing with her jazz band. And it felt like every song they did, it was the first time they had ever done it that way. So she explained before the show that she's played with most of the band members for at least a decade. So a decade of performing day in and day out with these people who knew each other's next breath, who knew each other's next creative idea or intention. They were so in sync with each other that they were one living, breathing organism. But I don't know how to explain it other than when you hear the song, when you hear the way they express themselves in this song or the solo that the saxophonist takes, it's just, you can tell they've never done it that way before, and they're having so much fun just trying new things and trusting each other to catch them if they fall or if it doesn't sound quite the way they were thinking. And at one point, you know, and maybe she's done this before in other concerts, but just to kind of give you a visual representation of improv, there's a drummer, her drummer is going off on this long solo that's just incredible. And she gets, bored. She's acting like she's bored. She walks over, she takes her heels off. And while he's drumming, she's beating on the cymbals with the heel of her high heel, just having a blast, right? So it's this art of improv of just like doing something new and like, oh, I've never played a cymbal with a high heel before, but I'm going to do it. So it really is just encouraging me that, improv is a risk, but the greater the risk, the greater reward. So if you put yourself out there and you try something and you're really brave, maybe it's going to pay off and maybe it's going to give you a feeling of elation or joy or accomplishment that you've never had before. So I want to encourage us in the autistic community to embrace improv and to do it in your own time, right? Especially for those of us who have been through trauma. Change and messing with our routine and going outside of the lines can be scary and it can be really intimidating. So do it within your own time frame and your own comfort zone. Baby steps are good too when it comes to improv. You have to start somewhere. The fourth thing that Lady Gaga taught me is just to commit. She was so present in every moment. And this is one of those things I was trying to tell people when I got home. I'm like, even if you don't love Gaga, when you're in her presence, she has you in the palm of her hand. She is there just committed to every word that comes out of her mouth, to every note that she hits. That is the only thing that's on her mind. She's not thinking about where she's going afterwards. She's not thinking about, family drama or whatever it might be. She's like in the moment, giving everything that she has. And again, it's that payoff of when you commit yourself to being present and to giving all you are in this moment. It's an electricity, it's a vibrancy, it's just like this feeling of coming to life and being what you are supposed to be. So whatever that means to you, commit to being who you are and relish in the fact that there's no one else on earth who's living like you, who's in your skin, who has the talents and the dreams and the desires that you have. Relish in it and take up space. And then the fifth thing that kind of goes along with this, don't apologize for who you are. Don't shirk away after putting yourself out there. This is one of the incredible things about Gaga. And if you're a performing artist, you know that this takes skill. She let us applaud for her. And she almost kind of built in breaks for us to do so. And on a stage, it can be hard to receive that praise and like create that space for that, because I think especially autistic people, we're like, a little apologetic when we put ourselves out there. Like, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to overstep. But creating something, letting it speak for itself, maybe being an iteration of yourself that you've never been before, leaving it out there and not apologizing for it. Leave room for the applause. Leave room for people to take you all in and to have to figure out, like, what do I do with this information? Like, how do I want to respond? You know, don't think for other people. Don't give these excuses of like, oh, I haven't practiced in forever. Oh, I've never done this before. Just put it all out there. No excuses, no apologies, and let other people just sit with it. Let other people take in all that you are and the beautiful space that you're creating for yourself. So like I said, if you love Gaga, if you don't love Gaga, hopefully you're able to take away some things from this experience that I had. I couldn't wait to share it with everyone because I just feel like, you know, in addition to all these things, a lot of people feel like she's a very safe space. She's a very safe person in that she's created a lot of intentionality and support behind marginalized communities and helping them get their voices heard. And so I really have a tremendous amount of respect for Gaga. Even recently, she started speaking a lot about mental health and creating free mental health resources and programs for other communities. So I have a lot of respect for her, and I truly value the impact that she's had on my life through her art, through her music, through her fashion, through just how she embodies an authentic expression of herself that is constantly transforming. I'm in awe. So anyways, I hope that this was helpful to you. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas for how you want to start putting yourself out there a little bit more, maybe taking off the mask or maybe intentionally putting on a fun mask that you want to try on. If you want to go even further on the concept of unmasking, I have an online course called How to Unmask, Cultivating Your True Autistic Self. It's over an hour worth of videos. It also includes a year of access to my private online community where you can have 24/7 access to other autistic adults who are in very similar stages. I have a guidebook that I've created for you with questions and journal opportunities, and I even created a guided meditation, first time I've ever done that. Lots of little goodies for you in the How to Unmask course, and if you're interested in checking that out, I will put a link for you in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, like the video if it was helpful to you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.